Thanks for always finishing your lunch. Huh? I haven't been eating it. What? I've been throwing it away. I couldn't believe my ears. I get up early to prepare his lunch every morning, and turns out he's been throwing it away. Why would you do that? It's my lunch. I can do what I want, right? I was heartbroken. Seeing my husband laugh as he said that, I lost faith in him as a person, and I decided to get back at him. I show him that I'm not always a submissive wife. Please marry me. Yes. 1 year after we started dating, I married my husband. We met at work. He worked at the head office, and I worked at the sales office. While we were dating, he was always putting me first, taking me to my favorite places, letting me eat my favorite foods. Every day I was happy, thinking about the wonderful life waiting for us. But his attitude changed drastically after we got married. He would always nitpick on everything I do and made all the decisions himself. He was a controlling husband. And things gradually got worse. Recently, something truly unforgivable happened. Huh? What did you say just now? I told you to start making lunch every day from tomorrow. Why? It's normal for a wife to make her husband's lunch, right? 3 years into our marriage, my husband suddenly started saying this. I work too, so I'm busy in the mornings. Honestly, I don't want to take on more than I have to. We used to eat lunch separately, so why the sudden change? I was puzzled. I don't want meal preps. I want freshly made ones every morning. From that day on, I started getting up at 5 a.m. to make his lunch. I wasn't particularly good at cooking to begin with, and even making something as simple as scrambled eggs took a considerable amount of time. So preparing the side dishes for lunch from morning was quite a task. Because of this, I got less sleep, and it was extremely tough. And then came that night. Seeing the empty lunchbox in the sink, I felt relieved, thinking, oh, he ate it all. From then on, I made his lunch every day, but he never expressed any opinion. So out of curiosity, I asked him, by the way, is there anything particular you want in your lunch? No, not really. I see. I thought you liked it since you always finish it. Huh? I haven't been eating it. What? I've been throwing it away. I couldn't believe my ears. I was baffled as to why he would throw away the lunch I got up early every morning to make. Why would you do that? Well, your cooking is bland. It doesn't make me want to eat. But I get up early and put a lot of effort into making it. Then make something that makes me want to eat. But you don't have to throw it away. You made it for me. I can do whatever I want with it. I couldn't believe it. Why would he have me make lunch in the first place? When I asked him, he nonchalantly responded, because it's fun. He made me make lunch just so he could throw it away. I never thought he would do such a thing. I was so heartbroken that I cried myself to sleep that night and didn't make his lunch the next day. Then my husband got furious. I saw no point in preparing his lunch, knowing that he won't have it. But if I snapped back, I knew he would throw a temper, so I decided to fix his lunch again, starting the next day. But it's going to be thrown away anyway. Feeling more and more hollow each day as I made his lunch, I gradually began to prepare fewer items. You've been slacking off recently, haven't you? Do you think I wouldn't notice? I'm sorry, but if you're not going to eat it, it's the variety of food that makes me feel refreshed when I throw it away. Don't you get it? I don't understand at all. And because of my lack of sleep every day, I was so weakened that I started making mistakes at work. That's when I heard a certain rumor. It was that my husband was bad-mouthing me. When I asked my colleague, who went on a business trip from our sales office to the headquarters for details, he was apparently saying things like, useless wife, and she can't do anything without me. She has no will of her own. It's bad enough that he's saying these things behind my back, but hearing such a thing, I can't just sit back and take it. On the weekend, to confirm the truth, I asked a close friend who works at the headquarters, Mickey. I've heard it too. Really? Well, your husband's basically harsh on women. I don't know if it's because he's good at his job, but he seems to think that women should only be assigned to make photocopies or something. No way. He wasn't like that before you got married. Did you do something? It's the other way around. I'm the one being treated poorly. How's he treating you? I told Mickey about him throwing away my lunch. As she listened, she got very angry and hugged me as she cried. You've been very patient. I can't imagine how hard it must have been. Why are you crying, Mickey? I'm crying for you, idiot. But that's unacceptable. He needs to learn his lesson. That's true. He's wronged you. Are you not considering getting a divorce? I have concerns about money right now. You can handle that. I'm more worried about you. You're numb to the pain even after being mistreated like that. That's a sign you're not okay. It's not like I'm numb. I'm pissed. Then Mickey looked at me intently. Do you want to get a divorce? That's... In reality, the word divorce had been hovering in my mind. Fortunately, we had no children. I found myself wondering if I should continue living with my abusive husband for the rest of my life. To think things through, I wanted to make use of this opportunity. I looked straight into Mickey's eyes and said, "There's something I want to try. Will you help me?" "Of course. Thank you. I want to use your position." You see, Mickey is actually the granddaughter of our chairman. Moreover, she's currently working as an executive assistant at the headquarters. I can't not make use of such a powerful ally. That's quite an idea. I get it. I'm starting to look forward to this. If this goes well, I can get my husband to be ashamed of himself. On the following Monday, as usual, I handed my husband his lunch. Do you have time tonight? What's up all of a sudden? You know Mickey, my friend who works as an executive assistant? Yeah? What about her? Mickey says she'd really like to invite us to dinner. Apparently the chairman will also be there. The chairman? He wants to show appreciation for his hardworking employees. If it's a request from the chairman, I can't refuse. Alright. I thought he would be suspicious, but surprisingly, he agreed quite easily. Perhaps he was pleased with the thought of being invited by the chairman. With that, everything was in place. After work, I met up with my husband and confirmed, once again, that he had thrown away his lunch. Then we went to the restaurant specified by Mickey for dinner with the chairman. Feeling good about the fancy place, my husband began to boast about how competent he was. Today, I finished my work early and helped my colleagues. You know, being reliable is hard work when you're this good at your job. Is that so? The chairman's granddaughter is beautiful, and she's an executive assistant, so I bet she's good at her job too. I'm just doing my job like everyone else. You don't need to be so humble. You're far different from my wife. He got on my nerves a bit, but the chairman moved on to the main topic. You get a packed lunch from your wife every day, don't you? Yes, she does work hard on that. What a wonderful thing! A lovingly prepared lunch from your wife. But it's the same thing every day. I'd like something extravagant once in a while. That's not something you should expect from your wife. Really? Don't you, as a chairman, get extravagant lunches? I prefer something simple. It's an everyday thing, after all. Oh, you're just joking. You've even arranged for us to eat in such a wonderful place today. My husband's attitude was completely different from usual. He must be trying to put on a good show in front of the chairman. I watched nervously, not knowing how it would turn out. So, you don't cook? The chairman asked. Cook? No, that's woman's work. I don't think that's the case nowadays. I think it's normal for men to work outside home, and for women to take care of home. We both work, but ideally, I'd like my wife to stay at home. Really? Men are breadwinners, and women are homemakers. That's how it's supposed to be. That's a rather old-fashioned way of thinking. Really? I think all men in the world would think the same way. Despite the increase in women's participation in society, they end up taking a maternity leave or quit their job. In the end, it's men who run the society. And it's the same in our company as well. Don't you agree, Mr. Chairman? That was the first time I'd heard such a thing. But he should know that we can't live on his income alone. He was spouting off derogatory comments about women, but the chairman avoided addressing them and continued the conversation. What do you think of men who cook? He asked. They're feminine. I've heard it's becoming more common, but I don't understand it. What if I told you that I enjoy cooking? Would you think I'm feminine? Huh? And what if I told you that I, not your wife, made today's lunch? What would you do? You're kidding, right? You could feel the chairman's anger seeping through his words, and it's understandable, because his handmade lunch was thrown away. Hey, what's this about? What do you mean, what? You said yourself you didn't eat your lunch today, right? The plan that Mickey and I hatched involved getting some help from the chairman, who had recently taken up cooking as a hobby. Yesterday, the chairman had kindly given us some of his homemade dishes, which I repackaged and handed over to my husband this morning. You set me up? It was far different from what I usually cook. Anyone could tell at a glance. My husband, who must have thrown it away without checking, was momentarily at a loss for words. Watching this, Mickey speaks up. Aren't you more concerned about the terrible things you're doing? What terrible things? It's strange to throw away food every day without even eating it. That's right. It's the worst to just throw away something someone else has made for you, without any appreciation. Well, if I had known it was made by you, sir, I wouldn't have thrown it away. My husband is trying to hastily backtrack, looking pale at the chairman's words. So, you wouldn't throw away the lunch I make, but it's okay for you to throw away the ones prepared by your wife? Well, she's no good of a wife. Can a husband do whatever he wants? That was my last straw. You are really the worst. What are you on about all of a sudden? Don't you realize how much your actions are hurting me? Huh? Why are you getting so worked up? I can't stand it anymore. I want a divorce. My husband stood, looking perplexed. He glances around the room, realizing he has no one to back him up, and begins to panic. What are you talking about? How can you just say something like that out of the blue? It's not out of the blue. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Where did the kind man I married go? I was in love with you then. I don't love who you are now. As I conveyed my feelings, tears began to spill. I took out the divorce papers that I had put in my bag and placed them on the table. All you need to do is sign. I filled in the rest. You're serious? If this looks like a joke to you, you're more helpless than I thought. Do you think you can survive after divorce? I'll be fine. I'll be getting alimony from you after all. What? Watching this scene, the chairman began to speak. You seem to have some prejudices against women. That's not what I mean. I've heard from my granddaughter about your attitude towards our female employees. Coupled with this incident, this isn't something I can overlook as a chairman. What are you talking about? I'll let my son, the president, know about this. Wait, sir! I can't lose my job now! Before worrying about your job, there are other things you should do first. Taken aback by the chairman's angry voice, my husband was at a loss for words. Not once have you apologized. When you do something wrong, you apologize. Even a kid in elementary school knows that. I'm very sorry. Not to me, to your wife. Can't you even understand that? You're making me sick. Mickey, let's go. Sure. Linda, let's go. Huh? What are you waiting for? You're not going back home, right? You're coming with us. Seeing the desperate look on my husband's face, Mickey and I left the restaurant, feeling quite relieved. The next day at work, I got a call from Mickey. Your ex-husband got demoted. Demoted? When HR investigated his work behavior, there were complaints from female employees, one after another. Is that so? And apparently his performance in sales has plummeted. He deserves it. It seems that he was transferred to a sales branch in the countryside where the women were quite formidable. At first, he seemed to resist and continued his tyrannical behavior. But the place was filled with tough women, like old-school matriarchs, and within a week, he was unable to talk back. Now, he is so respectful of the woman in the office that he even voluntarily makes copies. 2 weeks later, Mickey contacted me again. I was issued a notice of termination and was told that I would be transferred to work at the head office. And a secretary position. What does this mean? I think this is the chairman's doing. It seems that the chairman took a liking to me after seeing my declaration the other day. So he spoke with the president to allow me to work as a trainee secretary with Mickey. Oh, and there's a message from Grandpa. What? He said, "We're going to have a dinner party once a month where you'll eat his homemade food." This is an order coming from him as a chairman. What? Chairman's gonna cook for me? He apparently wants to treat you. He even mentioned taking cooking classes. Later, the divorce was finalized successfully. I was able to receive my desired amount of alimony, which was $20,000. I lost a husband, but I gained a new friend. I'm happy. From now on, I plan to have my chairman teach me how to cook delicious meals for myself.